I just want to say thank you, God, because I was able to see things for what they are. And I know as target individual, if you're not a TI, you don't understand what it means. When you become a target individual, there's a lot of theatrics. You hear the noise slam, boom, boom, boom. It's the same thing. Listen, my videos, this is like the 1500. What I'm gonna say today is the same as I said maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, yesterday, 2 hours ago. It's the same thing, and I want to keep putting that in their faces till the end. Listen, there is nothing they can do to counter the reality of what this is about. You are a test subject. And to what is this technology that can alter your mind? It's clear. The government, these governmental entities have been working on how to alter the mind since the 60s. They are doing everything possible to get you to not to think otherwise. They tell me I'm gonna be burnt and tortured. I was like, I know you're gonna try to use that as a way to disorient me and to make me think that this means that you guys are not manipulating my brain, I guess. And they use this to not you're gonna burn. It's like I'll jump in fire because I know what you guys do. They alter the mind in these pedophilia ways, and it's been validated. And they're still trying to get you to accept it. Now, what we're doing with mind in your brain as a child is retarded. And for me, I'm like, you're gonna hear after this video the level of theatrics. They contract these perps. The government contract these people. These people are supposed to create these like agitating reactions, right? They're supposed to make you nervous. It's part of this like cognitive warfare. And that's supposed to be, you should feel guilty for what you just experienced, because what I just experienced is I saw a little kid, a little baby, and they forced me to get the sexual arousals they can force people to have. This is the easy part. Sexual stimulation, they've been doing that since they could alter the mind in that fashion for a long time, where they can trigger and make you have a reaction that's whatever, emotional or even stimulations. Now, when I speak like this, I'm not going to just speak, of course. I'm going to put it in their face. And their job is like, no, what we're doing, we're minding, we're mapping. I'm like, you're just a bunch of clowns. And the things they try to do to make me acceptive of it. First, they try to deflect. They tell me I'm going to be feasted. You know, do you understand the things they say to try to counter reality? Because you're going to hear they have these systematic tactics of forcing sexual stimulations. And they do that in these pedophilia ways. Because this is more of a weapon system of some sort. Your mind is altered in an offensive way to break you down. Me, at this point, I'm not only just speaking about, I'm not identifying with this. I know my brain is being manipulated to get this reaction. But on top of that, listen to this. I know this is true. And you have these clowns that you're going to hear after this video doing whatever they can. And there's no shame to try to disorient me. Because it's just too obvious that your brain is being altered. They tell me I'm going to be tortured, I'm like, whatever is going to happen to me, I can reassure you that you will never get the satisfaction of making me accept something I know is manipulated. Now, you're going to hear how clown they become. These people will die. They will not be tortured like I'm going to be tortured, but they will die. I'm just imagining if I could live life and I'm here being a clown for this governmental entity that are renowned to manipulate people in these pedophilia ways. And my job is to try to disorient you to accept this thing. It's just magical. Listen, God give me strength for all the strength I will need to deal with this torture. But these people have been humiliated in magical ways that I'm going to show you. Let me show you, first of all, how they start stimulating me. There's going to be a little girl there. They're going to force me to get sexual stimulation. And then they're going to have these clowns do what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm supposed to, so this thing comes up. You see this little kid over there? They forced me to get sexual stimulation of all sorts. The babies, all of them. The little girls, I'm supposed to be accepting of this manipulation. I know it's not me, but that's the things they do. In my brain right now, that I look at these girls, they try to make me think, no, but when you're a kid and this and that, they try to find ways to make me accepting of this. Some of the thought process consists of even making me think in 3rd grade. It's so nasty. They want you to identify, and they're like, when they make you experience this manipulation and this thought process, like, now we matched it, we did this and that, there's no shame. But you're gonna hear how no shamelessness they have. because this thought process are being manipulated for the purpose to offend you. Now, let me just start from the beginning and how I love to embarrass this trash. When it comes to right now, what just happened is more of like thought manipulation. They would just rewind my thought process to make me think of me as a third grader. It's like, remember about this kid there, matching failed this. Oh, Jesus, third grade. There's no shame. But before that was just the sexual stimulation. They give me an intense sexual arousal. Now, let me just show when they start working on this and how God is good. Because there's no way they can counter this. Now, what they're trying to do, what happened when they made me have the sexual arousal, they make me imagine, they made me think, or they made me have the sexual arousal and start making me, I start hearing them saying, used her hand. What they're doing here is talk about me, because what's happening is they forcing me to have this sexual stimulation, then to create thought process and say, now we mapped it to you as a kid. And they're bringing up what I did to myself as a child by trying to exaggerate. As a middle schooler, I did this dumb thing that I never done it again, right? This impulsive act that they try to exaggerate, talk about her use her hand. So they make me have this sexual stimulation, like, you use her hand. Like, no, first of all, this is what you wish, but I'm not a child, and I'm a grown-ass man, and I know that you guys do the pedophilia type of torture. These people have these tactics of doing the pedophilia type of torture. Right now, with these babies, you know what they were trying to make me think of? Me in third grade. Me in fourth grade, try to create like the same age of these kids. To try to make me accepting of these pedophilia ways. That's why you're going to hear this person make nose campaign that way. They alter the mind, and they've been doing that since the 60s. And this is what this man says. And I love the fact that I can show that at least before whatever happens to me, that I'm here. Yes, I know what this is about.
Citizens being controlled by government-sanctioned experiments. Is Cheryl Welsh telling the truth, or are her claims
Try this again.
just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove? Maybe. But not if you listen to Nick Begich.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welsh and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiments. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is the greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Begich is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction. The ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our government began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify
So you hear what this is about.
behaviors of human beings. And going back to the Korean War, in fact, in a publication, Low-Intensity Conflict and
Going back to the Korean War, by the way.
Modern Technology, they have a chapter on electromagnetic weapon systems, and being able to not just to debilitate someone, but actually even to stimulate certain activities within the brain.
But how?
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, which started as a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy. This is a very large array or field of antennas based on Alaska radio frequency antennas.
HARP antennas transmit powerful radio signals into the upper atmosphere to study the effects on wireless communications. But Begich says HARP can also be used for more sinister ends.
HARP has announced several other programs and campaigns, and there's two areas that I got very concerned about. One was weather modification applications. The other was the effect on human beings. If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency following response. The brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain and the emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer. And it used to just be about triggering emotions. You can change people's brain chemistry pretty readily, change their emotional state pretty easily. But when you get down to the idea of thoughts and being able to manipulate those, that requires much.
So let me just clear up what he just said. He says since the Korean War, the government has been working on how to alter the mind, right? And emotions and stimulations are pretty easy. So what happens, apparently, according to what he says, is they lock in your brain frequency by creating a device that captures it, right? Once this frequency is captured, now they can alter your mind, because your brain mirrors whatever devices they use to capture your frequencies. So if they want you to have sexual stimulation or whatever arousals or emotions, they have that apply on this device. Your brain is going to be mirroring the device. And things have become more sophisticated to the point where even thought process are being manipulated, right? This is what it says. Now, you have this low life. Who are you going to hear? Who do whatever they can to try to disorient you and to make you accepting of this manipulation. Matter of fact, I hear this person say, you burn for it. What he's trying to do is to deflect. Not that I'm not gonna burn or whatever's gonna happen. The reason why he's saying that is because he knows that I'm putting things together in ways that makes more logical sense. That you clearly hear that this initiative to manipulate the brain has been ongoing for years, since the 60s. But he wants me to somehow to identify with my brain being altered in this fashion and not see that this technology has been ongoing for years. And right after the Korean War, they've been already working with electromagnetic frequencies to see how they can alter the mind. So he says burn for it because he wants me to think about being burned instead of thinking about how the brain has been manipulated for so long. That this technology has been ongoing since the Korean War, and this trash is supposed to counter that. You're going to hear how clown-like they can be. Now, this is not the end here. No. The ways we are validated as target individual is magical. This man who's talking about how burn for it knows that I'm going to bring up more things. And the reason why he wants me to not think about what they do to the brain and how long ago they've been working on technology that do these things is because everything is validated. This man is trying to stop this reality that these entities are contracting this trash to do what they do, have officially worked on this technology for years and years before, way before his birth. And things like that.
In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day. The mind can be altered. In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior.
So, I'm supposed to now think that they're altering my mind to have this disgusting waste, but it doesn't end there. When I say that the validations are just magical, and they still want me to identify to what just happened, it's crazy. Listen to this man describing the tactics. Now, I said how they play my brain. First, when I saw these little girls, these little kids from 8 to whatever babies they are, they forced me a sexual stimulation, which they're still playing with right now, right? But also start playing with the thought process. And with me, what they try to do is to make me think that, no, what we're doing, we're just making your brain as you as a child, like, to the point of the same age of this kid that I see there. To make me identify in this retardation of a logic that we're just there to have your brain be like a child brain, which obviously is not that. Target individual, the theatrics that you're going to see to make you accepting of this manipulation are comical. And you're going to hear how comical it is. Now, for me, as disgusting as it is to deal with this, I get the chance to speak up about it, and I try to maintain my cool and find that as maybe it's an opportunity for me to show how obvious this thing is about. Because I think it is my purpose, as I said many times, to make sure that this low life participate in this shit. People that can come in all shape or form. This is the kind of perps that live around me. They come in all shape and form, wanting you to accept this manipulation, because what's happening is this. As I'm trying to pull up this video, and they try to like really frustrate me, but I don't really truly have frustration in that nature. Let me try to pull it up. Down here, do this. So
that can pipe voices into an individual's head. And once you can do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare. And
so he said that once they pipe in the voices, they have then this ability to manipulate you cognitively. Your thought processes are being rewired. For example, when I see these kids, they make me have sexual stimulation. That's the easy thing they can do. They can easily create emotions and sensations that they want you to have and still feel the stimulations. But my thought processes are being rewired where like, no, but we mapped it to you as a child. They make me think of me as a kid, try to create the same sensation as me in my childhood. And it becomes this offensive warfare where to make me acceptive of these manipulations, they put things together in my brain in order for me to be acceptive of this. And it's crazy. And they're like, I should be acceptive. Now, at one point they were like, no, but it's your brain that we're manipulating. Yeah, you have to manipulate. You have to alter the brain. My brain is the brain that's being targeted and being manipulated in this fashion. Because naturally, organically, I will not have these reactions. I will not have these stimulations. But you're changing me. You're changing my ways of thinking. And you're going to change me even more. I get it. Psychologically and physically. But I have not been myself. I have not been able to think in an organic way since August 19, 2019. And this trash that you're going to hear is supposed to make you accepting of this. They have no shame. Because this is what they do. And you're going to hear clearly they have the same tactics on others. So for me, I'm like, no problem. Do your clownly. Be the clown that you're contracted to do. Talk about how I'm going to be burned. I'll be just making sure that before that happens, you're not going to escape. Listen to this.
Something hyper game theory. How do you, they want to see if they can manipulate people to do things that are irrational, but also walk them to their death. And so you can call it a eugenics program. And they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define the probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control the brain? Most people don't believe that.
So it's about obviously controlling the human brain and control an individual. So for me, it's like, okay, well, I can't do anything about how they can manipulate my brain. But target individual, if you're watching this, understand that's what they do. You will not think the way you think naturally. You will not react the way you naturally react. Everything be orchestrated for you to experience a reaction that's offensive, that disorients you, disgusts you. Then you're going to hear what you're going to hear next. And I'm glad I was able to capture that. They're going to make the noise campaign. They're going to be the clown. They're going to tell me how I'm going to be tortured in this way. So these guys, they're going to rape me and there's going to be some big, like, I'm like, whatever horrible things, God give me strength for it. But thank you for being able to, thank you for having the ability to see things for what they are. Target individual, for me, this is dignified death. And even this suffering has a dignity to it. Because you're going to hear how clown-like these people are. And you know, I've already presented the fact that they are so theatrical, it's magical. But they do these things and alter the mind in this fashion.
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be, let's say me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
So this EEG dining, cloning, he described it. They create the reaction they want you to have. The sexual reaction, the stimulation, the emotions, whatever it is that they want you to react, which is going to be offensive. It's going to implant in your brain. And then you're going to hear what you just heard. What you're going to hear next. A human clown who's going to go through and yell and make noise campaign. This is supposed to agitate you. Because the tactics, like I said, the way they alter your mind is in this disgusting fashion.
It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind. But he thought of it. This disgusting thing. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting thing that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's...
And the word that this person wanted to say was pedophilia, thoughts of pedophilia. And she said something interesting. It's like, I have to acknowledge there's people surrounding me, around me, doing these things to me. You're going to hear these clowns around me try to make me accepting of this manipulation, try to change who I am as an individual, forcing me to have this sexual stimulation, which in my brain right now, what they try to do is make me feel like I experienced that when I was a kid, the same age of this kid that you see there. It's ridiculous. But that's their job, because the job is to also make somebody accepting of these manipulations. That makes no sense. Are you saying that you're making my brain be the same brain of the children that you're going to see in this picture? While giving me sexual stimulation toward these babies? But you're making me think that my brain was like that when I was their age? This is that clown-like. It's truly like that. And like, no, we mapped it with you. No, you are forcing me to have these sexual stimulations. And this is what this other person says, which I bring her all the time.
It's referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation, so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the...
You know what they say? It's like, we proved it. You heard this woman clearly say the pedophilia type of torture. You understand? Can you imagine, like, be like, now we proved that, we're just miming you do the pedophilia type of torture. That's it. That at that point it's just done. It's like, what? They do what? Now we proved that we mapped your brain to. It's like, yeah, okay, please. These people have this tactics that are so pedophilia centric that almost all target individuals say the same things.
This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each. Is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced. This is a common breakdown tactic of almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds.
I hope you can capture the neighbors, because you just heard what this person, this says. Almost all target individuals are forced to see child porn in their brains. Those are the next door neighbors that was supposed to make the noise campaign to disorient me, because it doesn't even end there. I hope you can capture this.
I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes.
This is why you hear these neighbors to try to disorient me. Being full-on clowns. I'm so thankful. Listen to how clown it is when I open the door. I appreciate them, because their job is to make you believe this thing here, which
person to rebuild it. It's the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all these stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this.
So you hear this next door neighbor making this clown theatrical noise. It's because they try to counter that. And at the end, they do this thing all the time.
This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal.
And this is what's happening.
This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal.
And so they do these sexual arousals when I see these babies or these kids. And you have this trash making the noise campaign they're supposed to make me accepting of this. I'll never identify with these things. I'm scared to even look at it again, but I know I cannot be myself anymore. Because what this is about this here.
Innocent citizens being controlled by government-sanctioned experiments. Is Cheryl Welch telling the truth, or are her claims absurd? Just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove. Maybe, but not if you listen to Nick Begich.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welch and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiments. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is the greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Begich is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction. The ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our government began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify behaviors of human beings. Going back to the Korean War, in fact, in a publication...
Going back to the Korean War, you hear this next door, the neighbor. By the way, they come here, somebody opened the door, it's like, I explode, so trash. Clown ass. This is what they do with the brain.
If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency following response, the brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain and emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer. And it used to...
And you have these clowns here that come in all shape or form, these kind of neighbors. And this is sad because the whole family there is involved. And these kind of neighbors are supposed to be like, no, we're mapping. You look at, they even look at their phone with the pajamas on. And you have mothers like that. Clowns try to counter the reality of what this is about. I will not let these people live their fantasy. Trying to counter this reality.
Spies and information couriers, people that will carry the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all these stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government.
Oh, by the way, the massive government we're talking about, just to add to it, and this is why she's losing her mind, is because the embarrassment of it all is this part, which I love it when they could lose it like that. It's because this is an issue You heard that
Why
woman
are
screaming.
so many
Right.
pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember,
You heard the woman scream. She was trying to stop this.
why are so many
Right.
pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired, can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check.
That's why she was going crazy. It's because there's a problem with pedophilia and these agencies that work on this technology. For years, it's been issues. Listen to what these entities have.
Come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material. Called Project Flicker, some 5,000 individuals have been identified as
Thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible.
They have problem with pedophilia. You heard this woman screaming, yeah! They are clowns. Humiliations of all level. They work for governmental entities with problem with pedophilia. They are here with mapping your brain. They will map it. And then you see that this technology has been ongoing since the 60s. In the Korean War, they started working on this. And you hear this trash losing her shit. Because her job is to create this fantasy that's falsified. I'm so thankful I get to see this. She yelled because she compromised herself to that point. Then now she has to be a low-life retard. Whatever torture I'm going to go through, whatever horrible things I'm going to go through, thank you, God, I didn't have to live life like this bottom fears working for pedos. Thank you, God. And you see these neighbors and people who are contracted, they come in all shape and form to try to disorient the target individual into accepting these things. They can do all this clownery. I call them human clowns, trash clowns. That they know I love to see them for the trash that they are. Look at this. You understand? This is the trash. They come in all shape and form. You understand? And they tell me how they're going to frame me, they're going to put the cocaine in my plane, they're going to have their children say that they're going to play child porn. It's like, dude, trashy. That's why trash are. Target individual, I'm so thankful that my purpose was that. They talk about they expose me. You're embarrassing trash. You expose you. You've been exposed. This low life are exposed for what they're part of. They alter the mind. And target individual, they want you to identify to this. So that's why you have these clowns here. Well, no shame. They become retards for these governmental entities with problem with pedophilia to try to make you accept what we do. We map your brain. We get you exposed to your brain and your kids, your inner child. And you hear this clown just making the yelling is because they try to make me think of me as a kid, force me to have stimulation in my childhood, and be like, oh, you see, we mapped it. And they send these retards. Thank you. I could have been dead. I could be in the hallway. That's what they do. A target individual, this is part of the disorientation. See them for the clown that they are. For me, I ask God to give me strength. If there's a fire and they want me to run away from that, I gotta run toward it. A human being, grown-ass woman or man who can live this life of disgrace, go live that disgraceful life. I'm gonna put that in your face. Listen to how much of a clowns these people are. You know, you hear these perps trying to counter this. Let me see if you can capture this. Listen, because you see that? So these perps, what they're trying to do is just trying to counter what happens, because this technology can manipulate the brain these ways. So you have this perp, right, contracted by these governmental entities that make this noise campaign. Listen to her. You see how much of a clown they have to be? That's clownery. Listen. Fucking clown. Those people are, you know, you understand. So what she's trying to do, right, is trying to make noise campaign to counter reality. They make me have this sexual stimulation they make me have all the time, and then try to make me guys accepting of it. So, because it's just too validated that they do this manipulation. Listen to her. I love her doing that. That's what she's doing. Listen. Continue, please. That's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to make nose campaign, try to disorient me. That's her job. Because they force people to have this sexual stimulation and they want to be gaslighting you to accept these manipulations. And so they were trying to be like, nah, she touched it, poo, trash. What happened is, there was this kid somewhere, this baby, they forced him to get sexual stimulation, same old shit. Then they try to be like, now we're mad, now you force people to get sexual stimulation for children, and then try to gaslight them and make them identify with it. They use these losers of human beings who have no self-respect, right? That's their job. Listen to how, like, theatric they are. You hear that? That's how what clowns do. That's what these clowns are supposed to be doing. I'm gonna, of course, save this as a good way to like show what perps are. They want me to identify with these manipulations. I'm so thankful that they're being this vocal because their job is right now is to block this. Try to block it. They have no shame. So the reason why they're making this nose campaign is because they do the pedophilia type of torture. They're forcing you to have sexual stimulation, and because this technology can capture your brain neural network and force you to get the emotion they want you to have. They have these retards who's supposed to be out here making you accepting of this. I'm so thankful. I'm gonna use that for sure. Gracias.